Hello everyone, welcome to SportsKhabri and arunfoot. Hiren's going to be joining us as well. But yeah, Nawab, we're here because the second list of probables are out, and now we've got basically an entire view of who is going to be part of that Bhubaneswar camp and who could potentially play for India when we take to the field for World Cup qualifiers against Kuwait and Qatar. So yeah, the drill is pretty much the same. We're going to go through every position and we're going to discuss who could potentially be playing in the starting 11, which of these guys are likely to drop out of the squad before the final squad is announced. Yeah, that's basically that. Another let's get things started. The goalkeepers we've already discussed Gurpreet and Amrinder because they were there in the first list. Now you've got Football Achinpa and Vishal Keth. Expected additions according to you, Anava?
Well, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I mean, I think there's not much surprise, So to me, those are amongst the best players that there are in the goalkeeping position, and so therefore, yeah, it's very valid that these two keepers, Purba and Vishal, have been called up, and yeah, let's see who makes it into the final three.
Yeah, yeah. Anava, who do you think is the one who is likely to get dropped out of the four keepers? Because I think that's a debate that we're probably going to have. Is it Lachenpa? Is it Vishal Keth? Because I think his two favorites are quite clear.
It's again, as I said, it's as I say, it's amongst Purva and Vishal, and he's preferred Vishal over Purva, if I'm not wrong. And to me, is very very clear that that would most probably be his choice. And yeah, let's wait and see who he does in the end pick up and think that he is someone who should be, in the final squad. But again, I think we have a certain level. We don't have, the sort of standout players where I'd say, this guy or that guy, if he comes in, he could make a difference. And that's my concern at the moment, really. We had in the past, we had overall, and Shine, hope you're doing fine. I hope you enjoyed Saturday. I think for me is overall, yeah, I'm okay with this squad. I mean, again, I think there are two players which I feel who could have been added to the list. It's one is Sana, and the other is Putea. I think those two are the ones who I would say who potentially deserve it. And that's something. And Icon Loan, if you say that Kurva is currently better than GSS and Amrinder, watch the first half against Mohun Bagan and see that mistake. And he's done a number of those howlers this season. And to me, for me, Gurpreet in an India shirt is always better than, not always, but he has been better in the last 2-3 years in an India shirt than he has in a BFC shirt. And experience counts for something. I think the national team is not a trial and error area. National team, you will have to try and play the best players. And to me, for me, that's very, very clear that Gurpreet at the moment, with all the players who are there, he is the one who's going to be starting. So that's my logic at the moment. Amrinder has had a few matches, but to me, that's a bit of a problem, right? So I don't have yes, we have that problem. Gurpreet used to be a standout. Before that, Shubhatapal used to be a standout goalkeeper. But again, then the question is, who do you keep, who do you take, and who do you trust? And again, it's not only Igor Stimac. Again, about Igor Stimac, we can talk about a lot of things. But I think also if you look at other national team coaches we've had, or if you look at national team coaches around the world, a lot of them will always, not always, but most of the time will bank on experience. And experience counts for something at international football. International football experience is not something you gain by playing in your local league. And the standard at international football is higher. So that's something, yeah. let's see where it goes.
Yeah, no, I can see Digger Kratos saying Gurpreet form isn't good, but because of his experience, he'll start because he was not trying young players. I don't think it's about not trying young players. I think it's just there isn't that much of a difference between, I think, Indian keepers. I don't think you can say, I don't think anybody can say this keeper is so much better than the rest or the other one's so much better. I just think the guy has had more caps, and there's no way of for us to say Furba is way better than Gurpreet or Amrinder is way better than Gurpreet. It's just that he's played a lot more at this level, and you're going into a crunch 2 games, and you need your.
I'll bring you a German example. You have a
Hmm.
situation over here where you have Manuel Neuer still playing, who is someone the other day in England compared Manuel Neuer, said, you know what, Manuel Neuer has played in the generation of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. He has transformed the way goalkeepers play football, and he's right. And you have Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who has been, and he didn't correct me. Good evening, Hiren, first of all. That Marc-Andre ter Stegen has been very, very consistent at Barca now for years, right? But again, still, Manuel Neuer, even when he comes back from an injury, he's being picked as the number one. This is not an India thing. This is not an ego steamers thing. This is done around the world. And there are there are coaches who don't trust their goalkeepers and they do switches. But there are a lot of coaches, national team coaches, who will always trust someone as who they take as their number one. And that is something where Gurpreet has had the advantage. We had the same discussion towards the end of the career of Subhrata Pal, where people are saying, Subhrata is no longer consistent. You should give maybe an Amrinder, you should give a Gurpreet a chance. This conversation will never end.
Hiren, hello to you. And we were discussing goalkeepers, and there's already a lot of debate. I'm sure there'll be a lot more when we get ahead as well. But you think Gurpreet is the clear-cut goalkeeper here to start these 2 games?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हेलो टू एवरीवन, हेलो टू अरुणा सर एंड राहुल. आई थिंक देखिए जो सर ने पॉइंट बोला, आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बट एक चीज मैं यहाँ पे ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि ईगो स्टिमेट इज द कोच फॉर इंडिया इन लास्ट 5 years. ही इज नॉट द कोच फॉर यू कैन से लास्ट 6 months और 1 year. एंड डेफिनेटली यहाँ पे आप ज्यादा चेंजेस इसलिए भी नहीं करना चाहोगे क्योंकि ये वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स के आपके नीचे से. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई फ्रेंडलिस्ट खेल रहे हो कि वहां पे आपको टीम बिल्डिंग देखने को चाहिए. बट ईगो स्टिमेज का प्रॉब्लम आई थिंक ज्यादा मेरे को लगता है कि फैंस भी एक क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं कि उनका एक क्लियर फिलोसॉफी नहीं देखने को मिलता. जैसे सर आपने बोला कि भाई मैनुअल नॉयर, डेफिनेटली आप देखिए कि मार्क-आंद्रे ter Stegen पिछले 10 साल से बारसा के साथ मतलब जुड़ा हुआ है, फिर भी उनको यहाँ पे नेशनल टीम में इज नॉट बीन द फर्स्ट चॉइस अभी तक बन पाया है. बट वहां पे एक क्लियर कट आपका फिलोसॉफी है ना कि हाँ भाई हमको यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि हमारा जो फर्स्ट चॉइस गोलकीपर है उसके साथ जाना. दूसरे एक इस तरह के कोचेस होते हैं कि जो यहाँ पे जो इन्फॉर्म कीपर है उनके साथ कंटिन्यू करते हैं कि भाई ये कीपर इन्फॉर्म है, हम इसको लेके आएंगे, या फिर कोच चेंज होते रहते हैं. बट ईगोस्ट में दोनों तरफ चलते हैं. कभी गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू को वो लेके चलते हैं, कभी वो आप देखें कि अमरिंदर उनको यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि अल्टरनेटिव मैचेस में खिलाते हैं. उनका एक क्लियर कट मेरे को आई थिंक जो सबसे ज्यादा वो लगता है कि पिछले 5 साल में उनका एक वो क्लियर कट विजन नहीं देखने को मिल पाया है कि हाँ भाई मैं किस तरह से अपनी नेशनल टीम को बिल्ड करना चाहता हूँ या फिर किस तरह से उनको उस तरह से लेके जाना चाहता हूँ. तो आई थिंक वो एक चीज मेरे को उनका लगता है. अदरवाइज आई थिंक डेफिनेटली दिस इज नॉट द राइट टाइम कि आप यहाँ पे ज्यादा क्या बोलते हैं कि चेंजेस भी करो. एंड इसीलिए आई थिंक जो आई लीग के प्लेयर भी जो सिलेक्ट हुए वो अच्छी बात है. बट आई थिंक एट द मोमेंट आपको यहाँ पे कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ ज्यादा चलना चाहिए था. ये सारी चीजें आपको ट्राई आउट करनी है फ्रेंडलीज मैचेस में. वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर से नेशन कप में तो आपका जो आपको लगता है कि दिस आर दी ये जो आपने टीम बिल्ड की है उन्हीं को खिलाना चाहिए.
Yeah. And Drigo, I think I agree with what you're saying. He could have potentially tried a Vishal or Lachenpa in friendlies. Yeah, now is not the time. It's not.
But remember, we said that, right? We said it around the Tri-Nation and we said it around Interconti. Those were the tournaments you tried to keep us out. This is not now. You do not try these keepers out, especially with the team being in shambles. I think it's unfair on anyone to think to bring in someone in a team which is totally. I don't know where this team stands. My biggest fear is we don't know how good this team is, and there. I think experience counts, and on that front, I if I like it or not, I'll have to go with that experience part. So,
और सर आई थिंक एक पोजीशन की बात नहीं है ना, आप हर कोई पोजीशन पे उठा के देख लीजिए. इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट गोलकीपर्स. सुनील छेत्री को भी आप नेपाल के सामने, बांग्लादेश के सामने, पाकिस्तान के सामने आप यूज कर रहे हो, जहां पे आपको अगर आप देख रहे हो कि मेरे को यंगस्टर को वहां पे क्या बोलते हैं ग्रूम करना है, और आगे मैं देख रहा हूँ कि उनको आप क्या बोलते हैं कि ट्रांजिशन करना चाहते हो, तो बाकी पोजीशन पे भी हमने ऐसा नहीं कभी देखा कि उन्होंने यहाँ पे यंगस्टर को उस लेवल का यहाँ पे चांसेस दिया। तो मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि एक क्लियर कट उनकी ओर से प्लान नहीं देखा कि किस तरह से उनको टीम को ग्रूम करना है, कि हाँ भाई मैं पिछले 5 साल से कोच हूँ, तो एक टीम का वो देखने को नहीं मिला। 2-3 प्लेयर आप इनफॉर्म प्लेयर लेके आते हो, वो समझ में आता है कि भाई चलो आपने 2-3 ऐसे प्लेयर डाल दिए कि जो भी एट द मोमेंट लीग में अच्छा कर रहे हैं, वो चेंजेस आपको समझ में आता है। बट ओवरऑल स्कोर का जो एक क्लियर स्ट्रक्चर है, वो आई थिंक उस लेवल का देखने को नहीं मिलता, जो आई थिंक जनरली आप एटलीस्ट अगर कोई कोच 5 साल से है तो उससे तो आप एक्सपेक्ट कर ही सकते हो कि हाँ भाई इनका एक ये इस तरह का टीम बिल्डिंग का यहाँ पे या फिर उस तरह का फिलोसफी क्या बोलते हैं वो प्लानिंग है, जो कि ईगो स्टिमेज की ओर से नहीं देखने को मिलता है।
Guys, moving on to the defenders, because I think this is quite interesting. It's the new list contains Akash Mishra, Anwar Ali, Mehtab Singh, Rahul Beke, and Subhashish Bose. I know it's interesting because Akash Mishra, who is injured, is this a sign to say that he is fit enough, or his injury isn't as bad, or is the coach taking a big risk by putting him into the squad?
I think there are 2 or 3 players who are currently injured or have niggles, and the coach wants them to come in and he wants to have a look at them, and or the medical departments of the respective clubs say, listen, this player is injured, please do not call them up. I think especially Mohun Bagan will be scared for players going to the national team. They've got multiple injuries this season for players coming back from the national team, starting with Ashik, then Anwar, Sahal. So therefore, they'll be, that's something. So therefore,
But
I still
sir,
don't understand why Sana is not being called up. That's the one player I don't understand, because Sana is again at the heart of defense, or you can use him even now as a defensive midfielder. So therefore, yeah, that's one player I'm missing.
नहीं सर, मेरा आपसे एक क्वेश्चन है कि आप देखिए कि जैसे आपने बोला कि वो कोच उनको मतलब क्या बोलते हैं, देखना चाहता है कि अगर प्लेयरों को निगल के मामले में समझ में आता है, बट आकाश मिश्रा को जिस तरह की न्यूज है कि एसीएल इंजरी, तो इसमें तो आपको क्लियरली रिपोर्ट मिल जाएगा ना क्लब के मेडिकल स्टाफ से कि हाँ भाई इस बंदे का तो इतना।
But Hiren, it happens around the world that players get called up, then the medical departments of the club and the national team have an exchange, and then the player is released. So therefore, at the moment, he's called the player up. He's called up. This is not a thing that you have got a match in 5 days and then you say, "Okay, bhai, chhod do." There is this information of a potential ACL injury. Mumbai City still hasn't confirmed anything. So therefore, for me, very clearly, there's going to be communication between the medical staff of the national team and at Mumbai City FC.
Okay.
Yep. Hiren, your thoughts on the defenders now, and who do you potentially see starting? Because I mean, let's assume Akash Mishra doesn't make it.
नहीं वो नहीं करेगा मेक इट, वो क्लियर कट है उसमें। वो जिस तरह से उनका मतलब लास्ट मैच में जो सेलिब्रेशन हो रहा था मुंबई सिटी में, और जिस तरह से उसका पैर का हालत था, आई डोंट एक्सपेक्ट कि वो उतना जल्दी उनका कोई रिकवरी होने वाला है। सो वो तो क्लियर कट सिनारियो है। बट आई थिंक सर ने जो बोला साना सिंह, आई कंप्लीटली एग्री। और हमने वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स के मैचेस जब अफगानिस्तान के सामने थे, तब भी ये डिस्कशन में लाए थे कि साना सिंह डिजर्व टू बी इनटू द नेशनल टीम। एक तो बंदे के पास एक्सपीरियंस है, दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट थिंग। बंदे ने नेशनल टीम के लिए काफी बार खेल चुके हैं। दूसरा, यहाँ पे आपने जो प्लेयर सिलेक्ट किए हैं, यहाँ पे नरेंद्र गहलोत का देखिए, आई थिंक अभी मैं दूसरे डिस्कशन में से आ रहा हूँ, जहाँ पे खुद ओडिशा एफसी के जो फैंस है और उनका जिस तरह से परफॉर्मेंस रहा है, वो आप अपने बोल सकते कि ही इज दी, यू कैन से कि एट द मोमेंट अ प्लेयर टू रेडी फॉर द नेशनल टीम। टू बी ऑनेस्ट, ही इज ए यंगस्टर, ही मेड ए मिस्टेक्स, उनसे वो डेफिनेटली सीखा होगा। बट इस तरह के क्रूशियल मैचेस में आई थिंक अगर आप फाइनल स्कोर में उनको जगह बना देते हो, देन आई थिंक उनका वो केस नहीं बनता। राहुल बेके आपने डेफिनेटली यहाँ पे सेकंड लिस्ट में ऐड किया है, तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली मेरे को लगता है कि वो यहाँ पे फाइनल स्कोर में होंगे। अनवर अली, ये दो तो आपके शॉर्ट शॉट है। अब बाकी दो सेंटर बैक कौन से होते हैं, उसमें आपके पास लालचुंग नुंगना है, मेहताब है, देन यू हैव ए नरेंद्र गहलोत एंड मोहम्मद हमान। तो ये 4 ऑप्शन आपके पास है, इनमें से दो जाएंगे, जिसमें लाल का भी फॉर्म आप देखिए सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में अच्छा नहीं रहा है। मेहताब को मुंबई सिटी ने भी राइट बैक पे ज्यादा खिलाया है, राइट बैक, लेफ्ट बैक कंपेयर टू सेंटर बैक। एंड तीसरा यहाँ पे मोहम्मद हमान इज कमिंग फ्रॉम आई लीग, सो लेट्स सी ट्रेनिंग सेशन में वो कितना कन्विंस कर पाते हैं। नरेंद्र गहलोत का मैंने जैसे बताया। सो आई थिंक एट द मोमेंट लग रहा है कि आपके जो फर्स्ट चॉइस जो 2 सेंटर बैक है, राहुल बेके एंड अनवर अली, वो भी अनवर अली का भी मैं बोलूंगा कि सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में इतना कन्विंसिंग परफॉर्मेंस नहीं रहा है जितना मतलब क्या बोलते कि स्टार्टिंग उन्होंने किया था. आफ्टर दैट इंजरी उनका भी थोड़ा सा मतलब आप बोल सकते हैं रिदम या फिर परफॉर्मेंस में वो थोड़ी सी गिरावट आई है. सो बैक लाइन में मेरे को लगता है कि सेंटर बैक इज फॉर मी इज कंसर्न डेफिनेटली. आई थिंक राहुल बैक एक प्लेयर मेरे को दिखता है कि जो अच्छे फॉर्म के साथ आ रहा है. सेंटर बैक खेले हुए मुंबई सिटी के लिए क्रूशियल मैचेस में, सो एक्सपीरियंस भी है. सो उसके साथ अगर साना आप बैकअप में रखते देन आई थिंक definitely that would have been a great option, particularly in this kind of you can say ki crucial matches.
Also, questions about who could potentially start Anwar Ali and Subhashish Bose is being mentioned. Subhashish Bose would have to play at left back now. I mean, given Akash's situation, so central defensive pairing would be pretty straightforward. Then, what about Anwar Ali? Arnav?
Anwar and Rahul Beke sort of make it automatic at the moment. The question is, what is the situation of Anwar Ali? Because I didn't find him convincing in the last few weeks, to be very honest. So therefore, again, are we already getting into that mold where Anwar Ali is getting, becoming a typical Indian footballer? I've got a few good matches, I've got a few bad matches, and then some okay matches. So for me, that's something. And I think Rahul Beke has been the most consistent Indian defender in this ISL season. So yeah, it's. I think there's no doubt about it that so he has to start.
ड्रीगर कैरोट्स भाई, अगर आप बेके की एक मिस्टेक बता रहे हो तो उस हिसाब से तो एशियन कप में सभी प्लेयर्स ने मिस्टेक की है और इसमें से कोई भी प्लेयर फिर तो डिजर्व नहीं करता स्क्वाड में आने के लिए. एशियन कप में आप एक भी
if we wanna take that conversation to who deserves or who doesn't deserve, then though we can shut down the team now.
Team,
Yeah.
So that's the challenge. That's our challenge now with the current squad.
Yep. The new midfielders, guys. Anil Thapa, Deepak Tangri, Apuya. You got Lalin Zawala, Changte, of course. We'll talk about him when we talk about the wide players. Listen Colasso again among those. And Sal Abdul Samad. You're basically adding to the ones that you already got. Brandon Fernandez, Edmund Larendika, of course, will not be in this conversation. So will Imran. I don't think Imran Khan, Isak also will be in this conversation. Jeekson in there. Again, yeah, Suresh, Vibin Mohan. Expected midfielders, guys?
I think so. I think इसमें मेरे को तो एक विबिन मोहनन के अलावा दूसरा कोई नया चेहरा उस लेवल पे देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है. एडमंड को आप बोल सकते हो, बट आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ही विल मेक इट टू द फाइनल स्क्वाड बिकॉज ब्रेंडन सहल दोनों यहाँ पे अच्छा करके आ रहे हैं. सो आई थिंक आपके एंड ऊपर से आप इमरान को भी आपने सिलेक्ट किया है, आप थापा भी उस रोल को प्ले कर सकते हो. आई डोंट थिंक सो कि आप अटैकिंग मिडफील्डर के रोल में उतने ज्यादा मतलब ऑप्शन और ज्यादा लेके जाना चाहोगे. सुरेश सिंह, जिक्सन, थापा, अपुया का एक अभी भी डाउटफुल बताया जा रहा है कि ही माइट भी मतलब उनका यहाँ पे एक शॉट नहीं है. यहाँ पे कुछ रिपोर्ट्स ऐसी बता रही है. आई थिंक ऑफिशियल तो जब हमें फाइनल स्कोर आएगी तभी पता चल पाएगा. सो मिडफील्ड में आई थिंक विबिन मोहनन एक इंटरेस्टिंग केस है मेरे हिसाब से, जिनका मतलब आप उस सेंस पे बोलेंगे तो केरला ब्लास्टर्स के लिए ब्रेकआउट सीजन एंड फाइनल स्कोर में उनकी जगह बनती है कि नहीं. अदरवाइज दीपक टांगरी भी आपके एशियन कप में थे. थापा का एक अच्छी बात है कि चलो भाई लास्ट फेज में यहाँ पे वो फिर से वापस भवन बगान के लिए फॉर्म में वापस आ गए. सो लेट्स सी क्या वो फॉर्म को कैरी फॉरवर्ड कर पाते हैं नेशनल टीम के लिए. जिक्सन का फॉर्म मेरे को लगता है कि आई थिंक जिक्सन की जगह पे, टू बी ऑनेस्ट अगर आप मेरे को बोलेंगे तो जिक्सन की जगह पे एट द मोमेंट पुतिया डिजर्व करते थे. जिस तरह के फॉर्म में, जिस तरह का सीजन उनका रहा है, जिस तरह के रिदम में हो, जिक्सन इज लुकिंग रियली आउट ऑफ द फॉर्म. सो वो एक चेंज है. अदर देन दैट आई थिंक मिडफील्ड इज लुकिंग ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर जो हम पहले भी देख चुके हैं.
Yep. Arwa, any surprising players you see in the midfielders, or anybody who can potentially push for a midfield, for a spot in squad at least?
If I look at the squad, if I look at who's available, I would say, there's this whole discussion if Apuya might be available or not. If Apuya is not available, that puts already a lot of question marks into this team. Vibin is most probably the one besides Isaac. Those two are the ones who I would think, could be. Mahesh has been a regular, but Mahesh hasn't played that well. Nandakumar has been sort of the better winger at East Bengal. Yeah, and again we go back to the Putia discussion, right? And so to me is a question of who is fit, who is how well. Very complicated. Again, it's early May, so I guess getting into the squad is one thing, and then the final 11 is another thing.
Yeah. Hiren, again, there's some interesting names in there. Because again, it depends on what shape you want to play. But do you think Anu Thapa, players like Anu Thapa or Suresh have a chance of getting into the squad and starting this game? Because you know that Igor has preferred Jeeks and now he prefers Apuya, and probably Sahal will play that game. You see any others?
But before that, Thapa was preferred after I think
Yeah.
Sunil Chetri the most. So you under Ego's match you never ruled out Thapa. Simple as that. Despite his whatever his form in you can say club level, good, bad, whatever, he will get a chance. So I'm expecting 100% that Thapa will get a minute. Either it will be in starting 11 or there's a substitution. And as you mentioned rightly कि जिक्सन वापस आ चुके हैं तो most probably I think he will start. दीपक टांगरी को भी वो यहाँ पे seeing Kuwait's and Qatar's physicality factor, I think he might add Tangri over Suresh, I would say. Brandon and Sahal में से I think interesting choice कि who will start. I think most probably he will prefer Sahal, पर जिस तरह के फॉर्म में ब्रेंडन है I think वो भी यहाँ पे डिजर्व करते हैं. इमरान खान को उन्होंने अफगानिस्तान के सामने सिलेक्ट किया था, बट आई थिंक जो बेंच स्कोर थी उसमें भी वो नहीं थे यहाँ पे. सो दैट इज द थिंग विथ इमरान. विपिन का मेरे को अगर अपूया नहीं होते देन मे बी उनका फाइनल कट में जगह बन सकता है. आई एम सीइंग दैट थिंग. सो अदर देन दैट कौन सा मिडफील्डर बचा अभी? आई थिंक एवरीवन इज कवर्ड.
That's true. I think you've got. Is Vikram what? Just give me a second, guys.
नहीं विक्रम
Sorry?
तो है.
Vikram is there and he's in the squad. Yeah.
But Vikram is listed as a striker, as Manveer is as well.
Yeah.
वो तो वो लोग तो विंगर्स को भी मिडफील्डर में डालते हैं तो.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen that up and down that they do it a lot, and we've seen it quite often actually.
There's certain national teams who nowadays actually announce the squad and say midfielders / strikers.
Strikers,
So, let's see.
Yeah, guys. Let's go through the forwards as well. I think this is one area I think that we're pretty much we got what we expected. The forwards. So you've got Manveer Singh and Vikram Pratap who've been added, and before that we had David Lal Sinanga, Jitin. You had Lalan Zoala, Parthib Gogoi, Rahim Ali, Sunil Chetri, and I'm going to add those two wingers as well. Two, three wingers that we've got. Edwin Arandika, Imran Khan, Isak. Actually, quite a few. Nandakumar Sekar, KP Rahul, Mohammad Yasir as well. Mahir Singh Nauram. Okay, so there's a lot of wingers now to choose from.
Changte, Liston.
Way too many.
Liston, Jitin MS, Parthib. There are lots of players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who get? I mean, is Igor going in with the mindset that let's try to bring in as many white players as we can, or what is he thinking? Because a lot of white.
Rahul, I have to go back to the question: is he thinking?
Nice.
Let's start with the basics before you get carried away. Let's start with the basics. Is he thinking about this?
वो सर वो नहीं बताती वो मोटिवेशन स्पीकर की कोई भी चीज.
Someone told him, "Arey, pick these players, and you should pick this one and that one. It's good PR. You pick some I-League players and all that." This squad selection is a whole PR story.
नहीं वो सर
that is our problem.
वो मोटिवेशन स्पीकर नहीं बताते कि आपको कोई भी चीज करना है तो पहला क्वेश्चन दिमाग में आना चाहिए व्हाई. क्यों वो बेसिक से आप स्टार्ट करो कि व्हाई दिस व्हाई आर यू डूइंग और ऑल ऑफ दैट. तो वही ईगो स्टेमेज के साथ सिनेरियो है. क्योंकि आपने जैसे राहुल फॉरवर्ड की बात की तो सिंपल से मेरे को बात बताओ. सुनील छेत्री, मनवीर सिंह, चांगते, विक्रम, लिस्टन कोलासो एंड नोरम महेश सिंह, ये 6 फॉरवर्ड आपके. आप मेरे को बताओ कि इसमें से अगर किसी को निगल नहीं है और फिट है जो कि एट द मोमेंट लग रहे हैं जिस तरह से उन्होंने अभी खेल के भी आ रहे हैं, लेट होप सो की ट्रेनिंग में भी ना हो, तो ये 6 तो आपके शॉर्ट फॉरवर्ड है. इसमें तो आप मेरे को नहीं बोलोगे कि भाई इसमें से कोई ड्रॉप होगा और ईगो स्टेमेज करेगा भी नहीं. तो बाकी जितने भी प्लेयर के आपने नाम दिए, कितने फॉरवर्ड आप लेके जाओगे? 6 से 8 लेके जाओगे, तो बाकी एक आध दो प्लेयर की जगह बनेगी। बाकी सारे का यहाँ पे डेफिनेटली इजाक रालते, पार्थिव, जितेन, राहुल, केपी, मोहम्मद यासिर, देयर आर मल्टीपल प्लेयर्स आपने नाम ले लिए, सारे के सारे यहाँ पे। आप दो स्ट्राइकर डेविड लालसंगा, लेलेंजोला, लाल बेलकिया सब है यहाँ पे, रहीम अली। आप देखिए 6 आपके ये हो गए, ऊपर से 6 7 8 और प्लेयर है, तो इसमें से नहीं बनेगी जगह। ये सिर्फ जैसे सर ने बोला कि ये दिखाने के लिए, फैंस को खुश करने के लिए है। सबसे बड़ी चीज मेरे को गलत वही लगती है कि अगर कोच फैन के रिएक्शन के ऊपर, हम जैसे लोगों के डिस्कशन के ऊपर, या फिर किस तरह से लोगों को खुश करना है, उसके ऊपर अगर अपना टीम सिलेक्शन करेगा, यू कैन से कि अदर देन हिज कन्विक्शन, कि भाई मेरे को ये लगता है कि हाँ भाई दिस प्लेयर कैन डिलीवर रिजल्ट इन दी नेशनल टीम, या फिर मेरी जो टेक्टिक्स है, मेरा जो गेम प्लान है, या फिर मेरे को किस तरह का प्लेयर चाहिए, उसको सिलेक्ट किए बिना आप इस तरह के प्लेयर को सिलेक्ट करोगे तो ऑब्वियसली आपको रिजल्ट नहीं मिलने वाला। सिंपल सी बात वो है।
And the suggestions that in the chat as well, people are asking, Arnav, is there a chance for Vikram to play as a centre forward in place of Sunil Chhetri? For one, don't think that's his best position. I think Vikram is much better off the wings because he can use his pace, he can go at players, he has that intensity and he has that directness. I think I agree with. Um, I think it was Arnab in the chat who said has to improve technically. And I think this our centre forwards need to be a little technically better because you've got tighter spaces. But as a winger, I think he can really express himself. You think centre forward is a position for Vikram?
No, I think he's better as a winger, as you say. That's at the moment his best position. I think if you have a striker problem, play Chankte as a false nine. I think Chankte has shown that in the last few weeks that if you need him, you can put him even there into that position. That's most probably my suggestion. Because again, if I look at this whole list of strikers, I stick with Sunil, and then my second choice is Manveer Singh. Of all these players, whatever people are going to say, whatever he's played, Manveer was one of the best players in the ISL in the last few weeks for Mohun Bagan. One of the best Indian players. So the point to me is, if Sunil, first question is for me, the question is how are you going to set this team up and how are you going to play, and are you going to let the players play the way they played at their clubs? If Manveer plays like he played for Mohun Bagan, if Chankte and Vikram play like they played for their clubs, for Mumbai City, we've got quality in there. We actually have potential quality in there. The question is, will they do that? Or will they play like they've played for the national team in the last few weeks, last few months? So that's a simple question. Do we see an ISL Manveer? Because then he's a pick. Or do we see the Indian national team Manveer? And then we have to generalize the question. Is the Indian team going to perform like they can potentially, or are they going to be as bad as they have been in the last few matches?
Yep. Sanket saying Chankte is very good as a false nine, better than our full-time striker. I think right at the moment, if you want to play Chankte in a false nine role, you can do that because you have the luxury of playing other wingers. You have so many options to play wide. Now, if you want, you can play Mahesh on the right. If you want that left-footed option, if not, you can go traditionally. Manveer can play on the right if he has to. So we've got so many options. Hiren, you think Chankte as a striker would make sense?
I think perfectly makes sense. Vikram, Manveer, and Chankte, for me, these three will start any day. At this moment, with this form, all three form in the, you can say, ISL in recent weeks, as I mentioned here, I think no-brainer, simple as that. But biggest question mark is कि हमने जो अफगानिस्तान के सामने नोटिस किया कि यही प्लेयर एक वीक पहले अफगानिस्तान से आईएसएल में ऐसा ही परफॉर्मेंस दे रहे थे, बट जैसे ही अफगानिस्तान का मैच आया तो जैसे ही वो खेले, वो टचेस लेना भूल गए थे, वो पासिस करना भूल गए थे. दे आर लुकिंग हियर एंड देयर कि कहाँ पे मेरे को पास करना है. देयर इज नो क्लियर कट प्लान फ्रॉम द टीम. सो दैट इज द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन. एंड इस बार तो आपको टाइम भी मिल रहा है, सो यू कांट एक्सक्यूज कि मेरे को टाइम नहीं मिला. यू आर गेटिंग 4 weeks, so you have enough time to prepare your team, your plans, tactics, whatever you call it, to you can say कि deliver result against Kuwait. So I think आपके में सारी चीजें हैं, आपके क्या बोलते हैं कि सामने की आपके पास प्लेयर भी ऐसा भी नहीं है कि लंबे ब्रेक से ऐसा कुछ आ रहे हैं. They are just coming up from a you can say कि high intensity intensive ISL matches. So प्लेयर भी फिट है, ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ ब्रेक बीच में था और अब टीम फिर से रिग्रुप हो रही है. So everything is set for Igor's image. It's just the matter कि यहाँ पे क्या वो उसकी टीम इस टीम के साथ डिलीवर कर पाएंगे. दैट इज द मेन क्वेश्चन. एंड वो जब वो डिलीवर करके देंगे तभी पता चल पाएगा. उससे पहले हम सिर्फ बोल सकते हैं कि हाँ भाई ये प्लेयर का ऐसा है, ये प्लेयर का ऐसा है, बट वो सारी चीजें हम आईएसएल के फॉर्म के बेसिस पे बोल रहे हैं. नेशनल टीम में हमने देखा है कि यही टीम थी, इसमें से मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लेयर थे, सेमी प्लेयर थे, जिन्होंने अफगानिस्तान के सामने, जैसे मैंने बोला कि टचेस नहीं ले पा रहे थे. एंड सेम प्लेयर जैसे ही अफगानिस्तान के मैचेस खत्म हुए, आईएसएल रिस्टार्ट हुआ, वहां पे डिलीवर करने लगे अगेन सेम प्लेयर. So that is the biggest mystery at the moment regarding Indian national team's performance. And इसीलिए जो आप प्रेडिक्ट करना इन दिस मैचेस की किस तरह से कौन सी टीम टर्न अप होगी ऑन दैट डे अगेंस्ट कुवैत इज वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट. क्योंकि टीम का क्या एटमॉस्फेयर है, क्या सिनारियो है, आई थिंक वो अभी आप उस लेवल पे जज नहीं कर पाओगे.
Question from Sanket again. Chance of Larenzuala making it to the final 26. I don't know any chance for any of the I-League boys apart from Hamad realistically in this team?
Very difficult to say. I think they have to show themselves first. I think the difference of standard between I-League and ISL is quite big. So I would be surprised if any of the boys get into the final squad of 26 or it maybe wins 23.
Yeah. Hiren, you think, okay, Mohammad Hamad has been spoken about. Do you think he stands a chance because centre back is a position that we're currently sort of lacking?
I think very difficult to be honest. And अगर chance मिलेगा भी, तब भी I don't expect they will get a minute. So that is the scenario with all the I-League players. They have a great season, no doubt about that. But जैसे सर ने बोला, और सर ने नहीं, I think खुद I-League के players, I-League के coaches, खुद आपके एफए प्रेसिडेंट हर कोई बोल चुका है, देयर इज अ गैप बिटवीन आई लीग एंड आईएसएल. इट्स अ क्लियरली विजिबल. सो आप और आईएसएल और नेशनल टीम में भी हमको पता है कितना गैप है. आईएसएल के काफी सारे ऐसे प्लेयर है कि जो आईएसएल में अच्छा करते हैं बट नेशनल टीम में आके वो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं दे पाते. सो नेशनल इंटरनेशनल लेवल एंड इज ऑल टुगेदर आप बोल सकते हैं कि इज ऑन अ डिफरेंट थिंग. एंड लेट्स होप सो कि ये प्लेयरों में वो कैपेबिलिटीज हो. एंड ईगोस टीम तो उनको पहली बार आई थिंक लाइव देखेगा यहाँ पे ट्रेनिंग सेशन. तो ज्यादा अगर उनको इन 4 प्लेयरों में से जो भी आई लीग के प्लेयर है, अगर उनको मतलब उनका ट्रेनिंग सेशन में कोई ऐसा एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी मतलब ऐसा चीज वो दिखाते हैं कि भाई कोच को कन्विंस कर दे कि नहीं भाई दिस प्लेयर आर बेटर देन करंट व्हाट वी हैव, देन मे बी उनका जगह बन पाएगा. अदरवाइज आई डोंट सी कि दे आर गेटिंग इनटू द फाइनल स्कोर.
I know DSC Rahul Borges and Shelton have done well. They're not in the squad. At least for Rahul Borges, was there a shout that he could make it?
If he hadn't injured himself during the ISL, maybe. But again, we've got options in those midfield positions, So the question is, do you want to fall back on even older players? Rahul Borges, then you can think about Lenny Rodriguez, or do you, again, Apuya doesn't get a call up, right? So therefore, I think there are other players. In the worst case, if you had too many injuries, yes, you can call on a Rahul Borges, and he'll put in a shift if you want him to.
Yeah. Again, Trigger Kratos saying we are lacking in the centre forward position, which should be open for all players. There should not be favoritism, but because match is very important for us, I don't see any new player getting a chance. Hiren, realistically, do you see Sunil Chhetri starting this game?
I think without a doubt. Because Igor's teammates मतलब अगर आप अभी तक क्या बोलते हैं कि आपका वो विजन होता कि आई वांट टू बी मतलब क्या बोलते हैं कि एक सेकंड प्लेयर मेरे को डेवलप करना, तो अभी तक वो हो चुका होता. 5 साल इज ए वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. एंड ये कोई मैचेस ऐसे नहीं है कि जहाँ पे आपको वो ट्राई करना भी चाहिए. टू बी ऑनेस्ट, देयर आर ए कपल ऑफ मेनी मैचेस की जहाँ पे आप दूसरे प्लेयर को मौका दे सकते थे और आप उनको ट्राई आउट कर सकते थे कि उनको आप रेडी रखते. सो आई डोंट सी एनी चांस कि एनी अदर प्लेयर विल स्टार्ट ऑन दैट स्ट्राइकर पोजीशन. आई थिंक सुनील छेत्री 100% स्टार्ट. एंड ट्रिगर पे जो आप बोल रहे हो कि डेफिनेटली क्योंकि आईएसएल में स्ट्राइकर को मौका नहीं मिलता तो आपको बाकी स्ट्राइकर को यहाँ पे मतलब ओपन रखना चाहिए. बट ये सारी चीजें आपको जो आपका क्या बोलते हैं कि इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल कप है, हीरो ट्राई नेशन है, साफ है, बाकी जो आपने क्या बोलते हैं कि वो मलेशिया में जो जाके खेला था मेर्देका कप, किंग्स कप, इन सारी मैचेस में आपको इन प्लेयरों को ट्राई एंड टेस्ट करना है अगर आप रियली में यहाँ पे टीम प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो फॉर द एशियन कप और फॉर द वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स. तो वहां पे आपने उन प्लेयर को ट्राई एंड टेस्टेड किया होता तो आपको आइडिया होता कि यहाँ पे दिस प्लेयर इज रेडी फॉर द इंटरनेशनल मैचेस इन दिस काइंड ऑफ यू कैन से वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स. सो वो होना चाहिए था. एट द मोमेंट तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ही विल टेक उतना ज्यादा कोई रिस्क नहीं लेगा कि डायरेक्टली यहाँ पे जो डेविड या फिर लेलेंजो लाल बेल्किया या फिर एडमंड या फिर और भी कोई भी पार्थिव जितिन इनमें से मैं आई एम नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग कि वो उनको यहाँ पे स्ट्रेट अवे स्टार्ट मिल जाए या फिर मिल जाए. आई थिंक जो भी प्लेयर अभी पिछले कुछ टाइम से टीम के साथ खेल रहे हैं उन्हीं में से किसी को मौका मिलेगा. हिमांशु राउत भाई वही बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं हिमांशु राउत भाई का जो क्वेश्चन है कि इफ न्यू प्लेयर्स डिडंट गेट द चांस टू प्ले देन हाउ विल दे गेट इंटरनेशनल एक्सपीरियंस. मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि दिस इज नॉट द मैचेस की जहाँ पे एक्सपीरियंस आपको देना है. दिस आर द मैचेस वहां पे रिजल्ट देना है. सो यू प्ले अ रेडी प्लेयर्स नॉट अ यू कैन से कि रॉ प्लेयर. सो आपको अगर एक्सपीरियंस दिलाना है सो मैंने जैसे जितने भी टूर्नामेंट बोले उसमें आपको चांसेस देना था. अगर आप नेपाल, बांग्लादेश, भूटान, पाकिस्तान इनके सामने भी अगर सुनील छेत्री को ही खिलाओगे तो फिर तो मिल गए आपको प्लेयर्स.
Yeah, I know where does Rahim Ali stand in his pecking order, because somebody who's been waiting for a while and sort of done decently towards the back end of the ISL campaign. So, in the national team, what's his role? Where does he stand?
There are two or three things one has to say about Rahim Ali. First of all, I think he's an underrated player. I think he's not as bad as people make him to be. He has, especially at youth level, quite a bit of international experience. I think which should not be forgotten. And as you've mentioned, he did well towards the end, scored some nice goals, created some great opportunities, and showed what kind of technical abilities he has. We've spoken today about Vikram has, to work on his technical side. I think Manveer has to work on his technical side. Rahim Ali is actually one of the better ones of this whole lot. I think people forget that. It's just, can you get the game together? The boy is a nice, intelligent boy as well. He's not what people make him to be. So I hope he gets the chance to be in the final 26 squad and then maybe showcase himself and maybe do something, because he has it. But again, he is also more of a winger than a central striker. So that is another problem we have. You're on mute.
I agree, Anu. I think this Indian team does look like it has a lot of white players, rather than those who can play down the middle. And I know the ISL has a bit to do with that, but it is what it is.
No, but Rahul, that is, again, we go back. If clubs and their coaches play to win matches and trophies, whatever coaches, even that Peter Kratky statement is a nice one. It's like it's like in the dream world, right? Of course, he would love to play with 10 or 11 players. He played with 10 players the other day because he didn't have any other option, right? If he had a foreigner on the bench, he would have brought on that foreign striker on the bench. So let's be real about this. Let's talk about this in the sense of the understanding is that there are coaches who've said, oh, this, that, and everything, blah, blah. Again, if we're going to fall for this, yeah, nice. The reality is that every coach in the ISL, it doesn't matter if it's Habas, Lobera, Kratky, whoever, Vukomanovic, whoever was coaching this season, they will give their players the chance. Who they think at that moment is going to be the right player to come on. Irfan Yadwat needed 6-7 months to get a realistic chance from Oncoil. Right? So those are the realities. If I like it or not, these are realities of Indian football, and let's see where the coach takes it.
एक चीज और है कि देखिए, जैसे आपने बोला कि आईएसएल कोचेस ने भी जैसे डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन आया या फिर ऑप्शन नहीं था, तो दे फाइंड द सॉल्यूशन। तो सिमिलर से आप नेशनल टीम के लिए भी बोल सकते हो ना कि 5 साल में आप बार बार आपने प्रॉब्लम तो बता दिए कि ये सारे प्रॉब्लम है, पर आपने उनके सॉल्यूशन के लिए क्या किया?
But that's the problem here, na? That the problem is with the national team coaches that he's been, again, at the start. I take out Igor in the first 5, 6, 7 months. He was doing good work. You saw that.
वर
The game against Oman, which India was unlucky to lose 1-2, the 0-0 draw against Qatar. Until then, things looked good. Then the away game against Afghanistan, the home game against Bangladesh, expectations were suddenly higher. And then the whole thing collapsed. It's similar to what happened last year. There was a lot of expectation created with those 3 tournaments. And then thereafter, you slowly, literally collapsed. And now we are where we are because there's that reality factor in there. And again, yes, you have a core group of, let's say, 10, 12, maybe 15 players at the max. Now, if you've got 2 or 3 of these players injured, your team is screwed because your second line, your third line is not ready. And that, therefore, you need to smartly utilize those tournaments, Interconti, Tri-Nation, to try out players. He didn't do that. He played those tournaments to win those tournaments. It's like what a lot of coaches do in India at youth level, right? That you play your best players because you want to win tournaments. You're not developing players. And that's the thing. How can you smartly, when it matters, play your best team? When it doesn't matter, give players a chance to see if you've got maybe as good or maybe better quality players.
Yep. So, gentlemen, before we wrap up, the real question: can Igor Stimac do it with this squad?
I think Igor Stimac himself didn't.
I think I just lost you here in for a bit. Can you repeat that?
मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि खुद Igor
Igor
Stimac को
Stimac
पता
blocked his comment.
नहीं, इनको उसको खुद को पता नहीं कि क्या उससे हो पाएगा। So how can we tell or anything predict regarding that?
अनुभव?
मैंने बोला ना कि राहुल, ये चाहे हम कितना भी डिस्कशन कर ले, एक मंथ हम वही करने वाले हैं, बट द फाइनल कंक्लूजन विल बी कि जब ये प्लेयर यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि डिलीवर करके देंगे ईगो स्टिमेच विथ हिज टैक्टिक्स और व्हाटएवर इज गेम प्लान एंड विथ प्लेयर्स परफॉर्मेंस, तभी आप बिलीव कर सकते हो। अदरवाइज इट्स जस्ट यू कैन से कि a mere prediction, nothing else.
अनुभव?
There are 2 points. One is that team is talented enough to win against Kuwait. First observation. Arman just asked about what did we do right against Kuwait. We scored a goal. Simple. Football is sometimes very, very simple. It's like yesterday, Borussia Dortmund against PSG. Yes, it was a great masterclass by Borussia Dortmund when it comes to defending. But if the goalpost was 1 centimeter wider, PSG most probably would have scored 3 goals, right? And they would have
hit the bar 6 times.
I think 6 times, yeah, and they hit the bar in
Across
Dortmund as
both
well.
legs.
So both legs, yeah. So from that perspective, football is a game of thin margins. And on that day, we were not better against Kuwait. Let's be honest about it. Let's start with that. We were not better against Kuwait. We did the basics right. Kuwait was just worse than us. And we had that one real opportunity and we scored that goal. Bas, khatam. And that's football, right? So then you have to say, okay, the tactics worked. For us, I think the first thing is looking at where we stand at the moment and looking at the table. We have to avoid conceding goals. That's the first task India has to do, because which is the weird one, right? Last year we were talking about India's defense is good and the attack is not good enough, and now suddenly both ends were not good enough. So for us, first of all, not conceding a goal. And then, again, I think Borussia Dortmund's tactics yesterday were perfect. I mean, if we do that, we're sorted. Ensure you don't concede a goal, and one of those, corners or free kicks, try and score a goal. I mean, Mats Hummels, the second one, which was offside, was actually Zlatan style, that one. Huh?
Style, yes.
So from that perspective, do the basics. Yeah. So therefore, I think, if India, and we didn't do the basics right against Afghanistan, right? We did not do the basics right. We were not fighting. We were not defending. We were not building up. This is something very, very simple. And if we do the basics right, yes, we can get past Kuwait. But do I have a trust in this coach with this team that he will win? No.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough, I guess.
I never said. Did I say they're more talented than them? No, I didn't.
You just said we're talented. It's a talent squad. That's what.
Yeah, we have a talent. We have the talent in the squad. But if I look at the
yeah.
technical abilities, the Kuwaitis are better than us,
Mm.
right? So the question to me is, for me, very, very clear is that we need to try and do the basics right. The mentality needs to be there, because I think the mentality was also lacking in Afghanistan, and the pressure should not creep into the players. I think that's another fear that I have with this squad, is that if they freeze, so to say, it could hit them hard.
Yep. So yeah, guys, thanks everyone for joining in the chat. Thanks, Hiren and Rava. We've got our 52-man squad for the Bhubaneswar camp, and we're going to get, of course,
41.
41.
Oh, I'm sorry.
41.
Oh, my math is.
Where did the additional? Did you, Rahul? Did you call up 11 players or what?
I did 26 into 2.
Okay.
26 and 15. My bad.
All good.
But yeah.
So guys, there's going to be a third list. Rahul will be announcing additional 11 players to the addition to the team. Sorry.
Yeah. We are going to be interesting to see who makes it to the final squad, and of course who ends up starting for India in those 2 games. Thanks everyone for joining in. Please do like and share our videos. Subscribe to the channel, SportsKhabri, Harry, and arunfoot. Of course, there's Champions League game tonight as well.
And there should be only one winner.
Yeah.
It's Wembley reloaded. After last night, I think in Germany there's quite a bit of optimism that Wembley reloaded is happening on the 1st of June at Wembley. Friends of mine were checking flight tickets, which are normally, Düsseldorf, London is about 250, 300 euros. Those flight tickets already at 900. Right? And hotel rooms, Borussia Dortmund guys have, the yellow and black part is already sorted in London. So I don't know how many Londoners will be there for that game. So I think Bayern, as they call it, the Besta Negra, it's going to be a bad night for Real Madrid. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. It's going to be fun. Again, you can watch that tonight as well. Guys, please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel, SportsKhabri, Harry, and arunfoot. A very good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.